What's up, guys? Today I want to make a video talking about fighters that I think that might be using performance enhancing drugs like steroids. And just to be clear, this isn't about proving anything or calling anyone out. It's just my opinion. It's not a tier list, just a list of names. So let's get into it. So let's start the list with Michael Chandler. Honestly, you cannot convince me this guy isn't on something. His physique is unreal, he's insanely muscular, and he's got that weird little gut that you often see in people who take HGH. Plus, he's only 5'8", and he's packed with muscle. There's no way he got that big from just protein shakes, man. And let's be real, the guy probably has a crazy amount of testosterone. I'm not outright saying that he's on steroids, but I personally think he might be on something at least. Up next, we have the CEO of EPO himself, Kamaru Usman. This guy's gotta be juicing because his physique looks even crazier than Chandler's does. He's got all these weird dots on his stomach, which is common injection sites for people who use HGH, plus his dad's a corrupt pharmacist, and let's not forget how this guy never seems to gas out, even though his knees are shot and he can't run. Usman is definitely on something, no doubt about it. A clean Usman might be as jacked as he is now, but he'll probably gas out by the end of the second or third round, tops. Maybe then I'll buy it. But having the perks of both fast twitch and slow twitch muscle fibers with zero fatigue or loss of power, come on. It's like trying to have your cake and eat it too while doing a triathlon. And with all those red flags, other fighters have pointed out that there's just no way that the guy is just that clean. Up next, we have Bilal Muhammad. Now, the reason why I suspect he might be on something is because if you look at his physique over the years, it's transformed dramatically. If you go back 7 years, his body looked completely different. Once he started his win streak, you can see that his body began to change, especially around the time when he fought Leon for the first time. And now the guy looks like an absolute tank. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it's also pretty suspicious that right after he beat Leon Edwards, he mentioned that he wanted to give a big thanks to his nutritionist. For some reason, he felt like he needed to bring up that he wasn't on steroids, which seemed to be out of place if you ask me. I just find it all a bit fishy, and I personally think he might be juicing. Plus, his head has noticeably grown too, which I almost forgot to mention. Anyways, up next, we have Kayla Harrison. She's absolutely massive, and honestly, I think she might be the only woman who relies primarily on strength as her main attribute. Her physique is incredible, and it's hard not to think that she might be on something. And ironically, she entered the UFC right after USADA was no longer in the picture. I don't know, man, that's pretty suspicious, am I right? Also, steroids can age you quickly, and have you ever seen her? She looks like she's in her mid-40s. But hey, I'm not hating at all. In fact, I think she's great for the division. If she never gets caught, then technically she's not cheating, am I right? I actually think she's exactly what the women's division needs right now, and she's probably going to become a champion sometime next year. So anyways, up next we got Jelton Almeida. The dude's physique is absolutely insane. I have never seen a heavyweight as jacked and ripped as this dude, and honestly, he looks like he's in his mid-50s with that skin that almost looks like it's made out of rubber or something. You know what I mean? Plus, his head has noticeably grown over the years. He's just a total freak, man. Whatever he's on, it's some wild stuff. Next up, we have Josh Emmett, who's often referred as the Goblin of MMA or the Orc. I believe he's flown under the radar when it comes to potential steroid use. The reason why I'm so suspicious mainly comes from the gyno he seems to have, and not to mention his insane power that he possesses in the featherweight division. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm aware that Topuria also has tremendous power, but whenever Josh Emmett knocks somebody out in the division, they go down like a board. Topuria, on the other hand, seems more natural. When he fought Bryce Mitchell, he absolutely dominated him, where Josh Emmett practically obliterated him. I don't know, but I can't help but think that Josh might be on something. Next on our list is Israel Adesanya. I'm talking about the gyno that appeared during his standout performance against Paulo Costa, arguably one of his best performances of his career. People noticed the unusual appearance of his nipple, and his reaction didn't help by acting like nothing was wrong and dismissing legitimate questions about the obvious lump. He only made himself look more suspicious, if you ask me. He might try to make you think he got it from weed, but honestly, I have no idea what he's actually talking about. You don't just magically develop gyno in your mid-30s. I mean, the guy literally has a breast. I believe whenever he's on is giving him a boost in strength and cardio. Anyways, up next on the list is Merab Dvalishvili. Honestly, you cannot convince me that this guy isn't on EPO. He never seems to get tired, and the dude looks like he has spots on his back that are likely from testosterone. While testosterone doesn't improve cardio performances, in fact, it could even hinder it by putting a bigger strain on the heart. EPO operates differently. It doesn't work through the same hormonal pathway and doesn't cause back acne. And it's not just EPO he's likely using. He's probably also on some form of testosterone and HGH. That combination is the holy trifecta of steroids that many elite athletes turn to. The key is finding agencies that can provide the undetectable version. And it might seem like Merab has done exactly that, and that's what I think he's obviously on. Coming up next is Jon Jones. I find it hard to believe that this guy didn't use PEDs for a majority of his career, maybe not towards the end where we are now or in his final years in the light heavyweight division. But it's pretty clear that he was on some kind of performance enhancing drug. Now, it's no secret that he failed 2 drug tests in his career. Because of this, I feel like it's only right to include him on this list. Jones might have been one of the greatest fighters of all time, but in my opinion, he cannot be the pound for pound #1 because of this. Next up, we've got Conor McGregor. Now, here's another fighter who probably isn't on anything anymore, at least I can say for sure. But it was pretty obvious he was on something, especially with how massive he got after his leg injury. The guy looked like a freaking fridge, man. I'm not going to be too harsh on him though, because he really didn't compete while he was on steroids. But anyways, we're finally going to talk about the last fighter on this list, which is Islam Makhachev. He's incredibly ripped for that weight class, and he has a massive build. It's also worth noting that he failed a drug test back in 2016, and when I look at these fighters, these Dagestani fighters, there's a lot of speculation about them being on steroids in general. While I'm not outright accusing them, I do think it's quite possible that they could be on some type of perform enhancing drugs, including fighters like Khabib, Umar, and Usman. But yeah, that's the list of fighters that I believe that might be on PEDs. But yeah, did I miss anybody? And if I did, let me know in the comments down below. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video. And if you guys did, please leave a like. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And like always, guys, I'll see you guys on my next one.